All right. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope the food was great. Hope there was a lot of laughter and happiness. But we are here to talk about business. So I want to make a video on doing research. I harp on that a lot because investing can be risky, especially if you're buying individual companies. So if you're going to be doing that, if you want to engage in individual stock trading. Always do your research. Always look into companies before buying. Don't just ride the hype. Usually you'll miss the wave. And a lot of people buy at the top and then it just drops off after that. So let's avoid that. Looking at the top gainers from last week. I've already talked about this company right here on an example of reverse stock splits. That's how you have this huge range of the year long range of this stock. So $66,000 is the highest that the stock traded at, but it's not necessarily how much it was trading at. It was only because of the reverse splits that happened. So if you're curious about reverse stock splits, I've made a previous video about that. I want to take a look at this company right here. Um, when we look at this page right here, these are the companies from Friday of last week that gained the most percentage in the market. So we can go to their page and pull up the more detailed quote view here. And the first thing I look at is the news. Is there news outlets reporting on why this company is trading so much? So we can see here that there's been major tax advantages for boat buyers under the Big Beautiful Bill. So I looked into it, and basically, business owners who use boats for business purposes are going to have more preferential depreciation rates for their business and those assets. Twin V also bought Bahama Boat Works. So Bahama Boat is a pretty popular brand. So that's going to help bring more customers in. But one thing I noticed looking at these numbers, so the market cap, if you don't know what market cap means, it basically means how much money has the market invested into this company. If we compare this company to the industry leader, which is Brunswick Corporation, their market cap is $4.3 billion dollars. So it's a huge gap between the two companies of how much money is invested into those companies. And if you compare Brunswick to other companies like the biggest company in the world, Nvidia has a $4.5 trillion market cap. So when we're talking about the size of investing, or the size of the investments that are going into these companies, Twin V is absolute small potatoes. So these companies tend to be more volatile. You tend to see stock charts, price charts like this, where they go down over time. If you look at the price performance over here, the 2-year marker is 80% down. So if you bought the stock 2 years ago and you never sold it, you never did anything with it, you'd be down 80%, um, if you didn't buy anymore. If you continue to buy, that kind of works with the cost basis average. But if you bought a crap load in 2023 and you never touched it and you looked at it today, you would not be happy. So, um, when we're looking at stuff like this, this isn't a very promising sign. We want to see the opposite. We want to see the price low, and then over time, we want to see it go up. And not only can you get a bunch of information from the trading platform, the brokerage firm that you're using, but you can also go to the company website itself. Then you can find the investor relations section of that company. They'll disclose meetings, they'll disclose presentations. So the latest presentation that they had was on October 22nd. So you can actually go in there and get even more detailed statistics and numbers for this individual company and the market itself. Some things that stand out to me initially is that the market itself is declining, and then the market share that they have is very small. So that could be interpreted that Twin V doesn't sell a lot of boats. Maybe people think that they're not great quality. Maybe people think that they're too expensive for what they get. But another way that this can be interpreted is that there's plenty of room to grow, and that's kind of what they are banking on. Is that there's plenty of room to grow in this market for them. Maybe the acquisition of that other brand with Bahama Boats, maybe that can help them increase their market share by having more customers. They're engaging in AI, which every single company now is engaging in AI because if not, you're going to be left behind. That should help with the online side of things for them. They acquired two websites, boatsforsale.com and yachtsforsale.com. And along with their AI platform, it should help evaluate these boats more accurately. And they're looking for a more streamlined process of buying boats online. Um, Now, for me personally, I'm not an expert on this industry. I'd have to do a ton of research into this industry to determine whether I think that this company is a buy or it's not. Therefore, I wouldn't buy this company mainly because I just don't know enough about the industry. And mainly, outside of the financial things, that I can look at is I have a minor in marketing with my degree, and when it comes to brands, a brand is the best way for a company to market on a big scale. If you have a strong brand, it makes it much easier to market across uh, all of the different avenues for marketing. And when I look at this, so Whizbanger is the name of their AI platform. And to me, it doesn't sound very catchy. If I'm the CEO and they came they came back to me with, man, we got a perfect name for this company, Whizbanger. Um, I would tell them to go back to the drawing board. Um, Now that necessarily isn't their biggest concern right now. Their biggest concern, in my opinion, is down here. and that is how to make money. Right now, they are losing money. If you compare 2023, they lost 9.7 million to 2024, they lost 14 million. So they're in a declining industry. They are not profitable right now. Um, they have a very small market share. So just as an investor alone, these aren't great numbers. And then, like I said, I'm not an expert in the industry, so for me to, there's not enough information for me here to determine that within the next 5 years, the next 10 years, that this company is going to be a good investment. Um, Now, if you're in the boating industry, you've worked in the boating industry for a long time, and you know that, man, they're making the best quality boats that money can buy. They're definitely not overpriced, all this kind of stuff, you know, and there's just not that many people that know about it yet, or something like that. And you see promise and potential in this company, then yeah, put a small percentage of your portfolio into this company. um, but like I said at the beginning, this is not what you want to see for a long-term investment, and that's what I advocate for is long-term investing, because that's how you're gonna make the most money. You're not gonna you shouldn't bank on making life-changing money in 3 to 5 years, because you have to get so lucky with companies appreciating in a lot of value, which is hard to predict. Like if there's any financial advisor that has ever told you, I can guarantee that you're going to make this much on a stock, or I can guarantee that in 6 months the stock's going to be up to this price. You need to fire that person because they can't determine that. They cannot make those kinds of predictions and tell their clients to expect that. So for me personally, I wouldn't buy this company. Um, but that doesn't mean that buying this company is a bad decision. The purpose of this video is to give the new investor, the beginner investor, some insight on what you should be looking for when you're looking into buying these companies. So I hope that this video gave you some valuable information. I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of relief, knowing that, there's plenty of options out there. There's plenty of companies to invest in. Just do your research, be smart about it. Having a second opinion, if you have a financial advisor, obviously consult with them. If you're looking to get a financial advisor, make sure that you talk with somebody that's securities licensed, because a lot of people who give investment advice aren't securities licensed. Like myself, I am not securities licensed, so I cannot execute trades for people and make money off of that. I do have a business degree, and I have completed the Securities Industry Essentials exam, which gives me a qualification to talk about these things. But for me to execute trades for people, that's illegal. I can't do that. And for me to, make money off of trading for people, cannot do. But what I can do is I can tell people how to research. I can tell people how to use their judgment, and how to take these numbers and to determine whether a company is has a strong future or doesn't. So I hope this video helps, and I'll see y'all in the next one.